Make sure that we get our thumbnail. Alright, I think that'll work. What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Denali, aka Don Squally. It's wintertime here in Canada. I'm not sure if you guys can tell. We're in Toronto, southern Canada, just about as south as it gets for us. And there's no snow on the ground, which is really weird. I almost want to put my summer tires back on, but I'm not going to, just in case. However, I've just been kind of bored with life, not really doing much. Just working out a little bit, trying to get into shape since I'm laid off and stuff like that. So I thought that I'd just give you guys a little video, man. I get like so many questions on my YouTube, and I just want to say thanks to everybody who subscribed to me, who asked questions, and you know, I try to reply to everybody, but it's just like lately things, I've just been getting so many questions and comments. It's hard to keep up with them all, but one question that I do get quite a bit is people say, hey, I just got my Altima and I'm looking for new cheap mods to get a little bit of power, better sound and stuff like that. And I can completely relate to that. A couple years ago, my car was bone stock, and I was looking for the exact same types of answers. So first and foremost, if you guys have a VQ35, which is very important for the Altimas, I mean, Maximas come with them, they don't come with any other motors. The year range that we're talking being for the Altimas 02 to 06, Maxima 04 to 08, and above. These are all using the same engines. So really, if you have this motor, there is a few easy, simple things that you can do to get a little more power, a little more sound, have a little bit more fun with them. First and foremost, and I put this off for a long time because I was reading a lot of forums that say, oh, you lose low-end power, you gain a lot of high-end, but you lose low-end, blah, blah, blah. So I was kind of skeptical. Anybody who has an Altima with a VQ35, get a block-off plate. NWP sells them for about 40 bucks. There is a new company, I think CXJ or CJX, one or the other, Performance. They have a black one. The NWP is kind of polished. They have a black one, this new company. It's a little bit cheaper, I think like 29 bucks or something like that. Get a block-off plate immediately. For the 30-40 bucks that you're paying with shipping to your door, it's about a 5-minute install. You can do it yourself. It makes such a big difference, you know what I mean? The car just it opens up a much more wider power band and range as far as acceleration goes. So surprisingly, I put that off for quite a while. It was about a year that I had my car until I got that part, or that I had the car until I got that part. And yes, I would recommend that. It's the cheapest, probably easiest mod that you can do to these cars. So get the block off plate ASAP. So that's gonna set you back about 50 bucks. Now I have a video how to build a custom intake for an Altima. Now in that video, my intake cost me about $100 with the couplers. I had a couple of pipes, 3-inch pipes that I got, intake pipes, and those were the bulk of the money. The filter obviously cost me about 40-50 bucks. It was a K&N filter. You can do this a lot cheaper online. If you go on eBay and you look for a Maf Adapter, I would look for a metal one. I did get a plastic one, but it'd be better if it was metal. This was pretty cheap part, 3-4 bucks on eBay. The Maf Adapter, and you can get a cone filter, any cone filter you want, boom, and throw it on and you'll have yourself an intake. But what I wanted to do is add a couple elbows to get the filter where I wanted it, and also there's kind of a baffle up closer towards the intake manifold. I also wanted to replace that just because it gives you better sound if you get rid of that part. So that's what I did. All in all, it cost me about 100 bucks. You guys can do a simple intake for about 60 bucks. That's repositioning the filter. If you want to get rid of the baffle, If you can find a cheap piece of 3-inch pipe and just drill a hole for your vacuum line, that would work. And like I say, about 60-70 bucks, you can build yourself a nice sounding intake. So, you know, we're getting into a little bit higher price range now. Next, I would recommend the exhaust. Now, depending on what Altima you have, the SCRs come with a stock smaller resonator than the 3.5 SEs do. And my buddy had a Muffler Delete, just cut off the mufflers and welded a piece of pipe back toward where the tips were, and it sounded amazing. Now, from my understanding, the 3.5 SEs have a bigger resonator, so you're not going to get the same sound exactly. However, a Muffler Delete, depending on where you live, might be the cheapest and easiest route for you. If not, you can go online and get a pair of mufflers for about 120, 130 bucks, depending where you look. If you want brand name, you're gonna pay around $350, $400, depending on what you're getting, where it's shipping from. You know what I mean? And then you gotta weld it up. If you know how to weld, then you're set. For me, I took it to a shop. So what I would suggest is either a Muffler Delete or a Resonator Delete if you have a 3.5 SE. That's gonna cost you about 150, 200 bucks. If you just cut off the mufflers, 50 to 100 bucks easily. You know what I mean? Depending where you go, the muffler shop may charge you more, they may charge you less. Because I've gotten different quotes and I've heard people get different quotes for that, and it all just depends really. So that's pretty cheap. All the cheap mods, you're gonna get a little bit of sound performance. Aside from the block off plate, you're not gonna get much more power. It'll be kind of like a butt dyno. You're gonna feel a little better about it. So you might feel a little more power, but it's not really gonna be noticeable. And then after, you're starting to get into a little bit more bigger, pricier things now. That's performance wise. What I did with my car is, as soon as I got it, I started going to town on the small things that I could do with little money. Debadging, I blacked out trim, you know what I mean, just to make the outside look better. These cars have an awful front wheel gap, and I didn't really notice it until I started hanging around with more Nissan guys and they started giving me shit about it. They really are ugly. So if you want to go a cheap route and you're looking for something cheap, get online to a couple of Nissan Infinity Parts pages on Facebook. Even Kijiji. Look for a set of springs. All you need is the front springs, unless your rear springs and struts and that are completely shot to hell. Then you don't really need to replace that. All you really want to do is just get that front spring a little bit lower. In my case, I spent a little bit more money. I went with racing line springs, and I got new shocks and struts just because mine were kind of bouncing a little bit on the highway. So it cost me a little bit more money. But if everything is all good with your suspension right now, you may just want to look into a little set of springs when they're pretty cheap used. You know what I mean? 100 bucks used, 200 to 300 new, plus installation. Like I say, if you're handy, a lot of these things you can install yourself. You know what I mean? What else can I say? Motor mount inserts, they're another cheap thing to get. They're cheap. You can get the inserts, or you can get completely new. I think it's Redline, if I'm not mistaken, makes the complete motor mount. I just have the racing line inserts, and they're a little tricky to put in. I'm not too I don't really know how to take out the motor mount, so I got my mechanic to put them in. However, they're about a $40-50 part to buy, and then the installation, if you know how to do it, there you go. Brakes are another thing. A lot of guys do the big brake kit, the Brembos off of a 300ZX. That's kind of expensive. You got to get newer brackets, and then every time your pads or rotors burn out, you're getting these upgraded bigger pads and rotors, so that can get costly. I just have a set of cross-drilled slotted rotors and ceramic pads on my car. They cost me about 210 bucks locally. So far they're not bad. I'm gonna probably have to replace the pads pretty soon because the cross-drilled rotors eat through them quite a bit. But yeah, aside from that, that's another cheap mod. Unless you're like really tracking your car every weekend, I don't feel the need for a big giant brake kit like that. These brakes do very good, and they never seem to warp or vibrate when they're really hot. What else, man? Wheels and tires. Look online. Kijiji wheels and tires are a simple thing to get for these cars. You can get 350Z, G35. Oh, a lot of OEM options, a lot of aftermarket options. 5x114.3 is a very common bolt pattern for a lot of different cars. Mustangs, a lot of Acuras, Hondas, you know, Accords and stuff like that. So yeah, wheels and tires, just look for a deal. Unless you're like, I've never been a guy to go out and buy brand new. Like some people spend like over $1,000, $2,000 on brand new rims and tires. If you have a specific look and let's say rim that you want to get, and it's like newer and you can't get them used because, you know, obviously brand name wheels, a lot of them like BBS and Works, they hold their value and people don't want to sell them for cheap. So you're gonna pay a little for what you want, right? But if you don't really have a preference, you can get a pretty good deal on some nice looking wheels. I got the 350Z wheels, or rims I should say. They did come with tires. You know, it cost me about 150 bucks, right? For 4 rims and tires. So that's my advice if you have a new Altima that you're trying to get into the game. And then another thing is just small customization. Lips, you know what I mean? There's the easy lip that you can put on that gives your car a little bit more of an aggressive look at the front. That's gonna cost you about, you know, 30-40 bucks. I seen it at the hardware store. You can buy that little lip material for like 10 bucks, and then just 2-sided tape, you know what I mean? And then the tint costs a little bit of money, but that's where I would start with the intake exhaust and the block off plate. That's going to give you a nice basis. And then once you get online, Instagram, it's all about getting ideas, man. And it's hard to be a trend setter these days because a lot of people, you know, you look at cars and that's where you're getting your ideas from, is other people, what they've done to it, right? So yeah, that would be my advice, guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I'm just here at No Frills. I'm about to get some groceries because there's nothing at my house. And yeah, that's about it. If you like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. If you are a loyal follower, I just want to say thanks. I got big things coming this summer. I'm still stocking up parts. It's been kind of tough lately, but slowly growing the pile, man. So I don't know how long this video is, probably just rambling on, but that's all good. It's your boy Denali. Thanks for watching, and comment, man. Let me know what you guys think, and if you guys have a channel with an Altima and videos on it, let me know, because I'm looking for new guys to subscribe to, just because I'm a YouTuber, you know what I mean? I'm looking for new content to watch. So let me know. Thanks again for watching, guys.